Welcome back, students, as we prepare for another episode of DC Graduates. I'm one of your teachers, your doctor recommended dose of nerdiness, aka your nerd today, Carlos Rodriguez. And as always, I am joined by my teacher in crime, Sly. Sly, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. It's great to see your face. We're here to talk about a movie that we've tried to talk about last week. All my fault, but it's fine. Time is fake. The people won't know any difference.
No. Just keep on trucking along.
We'll get into that in a second.
Exactly. But that movie we're talking about today is 2017's Justice League Dark, directed by Jay Olivia, written by J.M. Demetrius and Ernie Altbacker. Studio, as always, is WB Animation, and stars Matt Ryan, Camilla Luddington, which you have two exclamation points here.
Yeah,
what's your touch point?
I think we've seen her before, but my touch point, again, is Grey's Anatomy.
Yes, that's right. I knew that I feel like we talked about this before. Mine is Tomb Raider, the most recent Tomb Raider games. She is Lara Croft, and she's amazing as Lara Croft. We have Jason O'Mara because it's not a DC AMU movie without Batman in some way, shape, or form. Right. Ray Chase,
he's in all of them.
Dude, he's in all of them, which sometimes makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. This one kind of makes sense, and I dig it. Other times it's like, it's a little forced. We have Ray Chase, who is wanted to give a quick shout out because he is one of my favorite voice actors ever. He's Noctis, Prince Noctis in Final Fantasy 15. He's a bunch of anime like Demon Slayer and stuff like that. Just awesome. Roger Cross, Jeremy Davies, Rosario Dawson, Alfred Molina, Jerry O'Connell, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, shout out, she's Tails, in the movies and games, and Nicholas Turturro, which, oh god, I love Nicholas Turturro. I saw the name and immediately was like, oh my god, it's such a perfect casting for Boston Brain. Now, is this streaming anywhere? No. Which it feels weird. There's so many Justice League movies.
It was on Max.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all these were on Max at one point, which is always the sad thing. So this is our time to say fuck David Zaslav. Also fuck David Zaslav for not releasing Coyote versus Acme. But hey, we're still getting that release sometime soon. That's gonna be really, really fun to watch. But yeah,
I'm excited for that.
Listen, if you're part of a crew, you want to sail the seven seas, that's how you're gonna find this movie. That's how you're gonna find this.
Yeah.
Sly, hit us with that plot recap.
All right. I'm gonna start with the good one.
Yeah.
And then you can tell me if I need to do the boring one.
Gotcha.
Justice League Dark is what it sounds like. It's the dark side of justice. A group of supernatural heroes who band together loosely to take on occult threats, supernatural threats, threats that the real Justice League may be powerless against.
No, that's perfect. That's such a oversimplification of what this movie is in general. It doesn't even say anything about the movie. It just says this is what the Justice League Dark is. Also, the real Justice League.
Thanks, Anonymous.
Go fuck yourself. Someone doesn't read comic books. They have their own part of the Hall of Justice, asshole. All right. And the Watchtower. Jesus Christ. All right.
Anyways, thank you so much for your contributions to the show. Anonymous, spelled wrong.
I saw that and I was like,
we appreciate you.
Did I write that in? No, that's just how it was. That's crazy. Thanks, IMDb. All right, so hit us with those comic book characters for this one.
Oh man, we got a lot in here. We got John Constantine, boo. Zatanna Sadara, woo. Batman, Jason Blood and Etrigan, John Stewart as Green Lantern, Hawkman, Martian Manhunter for 2 seconds, Wonder Woman, Destiny, Superman, Orchid, and Deadman.
Hell yes, man. There's some good ones, some good heavy hitters from the Magic universe. I love that both of us, I love Constantine, but he's such a shit character, and that's what makes it fun to watch. You know, he's just such a piece of shit at every turn. But second Zatanna popped, I was like, "Who's Zatanna? Yay!" I got so excited.
Yeah. I,
So
on the other
excited.
hand, cannot stand John Constantine. There are like very limited situations where he pops up, and most of the time it's in Jason Todd fan fictions, post All Cast, where he goes back to Gotham with the All Blades.
Oh.
And whenever Constantine shows up in those fics specifically, usually he's getting his ass handed to him, or like he's outthought by Jason Todd, which is why he's tolerable. But I
Wait,
think a big factor of why I could not pay attention to this movie the first time I tried to watch it is I just can't fucking stand that dude. Like, he's so insufferable.
my favorite thing about Constantine, and this is basically the actual plot of the movie, is John Constantine has done something to fuck somebody over, which has caused
Mhm,
problems, and he is going to solve those problems reluctantly, and he's going to look like the hero at the end. But everyone's going to forget
mhm.
that he's the cause of the problem, and that's what
Correct.
happens in this movie.
Yeah. He's There's one point where somebody's literally like, uh, dude, your social skills are atrocious. And I'm like, that's John Constantine in a nutshell. He
Yeah,
fucks somebody over and then he goes back to them and says, hey, you have to fix this. And they say, no, fuck you. He's like, you're gonna do it anyways. And they reluctantly agree so the world doesn't fucking explode. Because Constantine fucked with some higher power who's now gonna kill the world. It's all
yep,
his fault.
every
Everything
fucking
bad that
time.
happens is his fault.
Every fucking time. And I don't, like I love Zatanna and I just don't understand why she goes back to him every time.
Right. She's so amazing.
Hmm.
She's badass. She's powerful. She's empathetic. She's caring. I love Z. Like, I'd put her in everything. I'd be happy.
Constantine's that bad drug. Like that's what you just keep going back. You can't kick it. That's literally what it is. And that's kind of
Yeah.
amazing that so many writers have captured just how much. This is a perfect way to start. I'm gonna start with the first section, but we'll start with this one, which is the plight of John
Yeah.
Constantine, the biggest bastard in comics. I put
Correct.
because he really is. He's just a piece of shit, and I love him. I love him so much. And if it wasn't comic books, I think comic books does a really good job of making him such an asshole and constantly the cause of all these problems, but then he solves it in some quick-witted, fucking dirty ass way, and you're like, "God damn it, this was a fun read." Like at the end, you're like, "God damn it,
Right.
he fucked so many people over." He's willing to fuck over Swamp Thing. Like we get Swamp
Mhm.
Thing in this movie, and Swamp Thing hates this motherfucker on jump.
As
Like
he should.
as he should. Now, Swamp Thing straight up is the protector of all that is like plant life in the world. Like an extra dimensional
Mhm.
being at this point. Like he is the protector of the green. And even then he still holds a grudge for this one motherfucker. It's like, hey, a lot of people in the
Where he
world
was like,
fuck with the world.
I
I don't like
know
it.
you because you pissed me off.
Yep. Like I like to think like Alec now at this point, like in his life, maybe sees humans all as one like blob of like red,
Mhm.
right? Like he's just like, they're all the same.
Yeah,
And then he sees John Constantine, he's like, but that motherfucker, fuck that guy.
exactly.
Like everyone hates this dude. And I think the only person who probably doesn't hate him is because he doesn't have to like interact with him too much is probably Dead Man. Like Boston. Boston's an
Mm,
asshole, but like he's a sweet
yeah.
asshole. Like he's a very nice guy.
He's great. He's funny. He died a traumatic death and now he's trying to bring some like light and levity into the afterlife.
Yeah, he's great. He's awesome. I love him in this, but like Constantine is just an asshole. And it's really interesting because I was talking to someone about this when we originally wanted to cover this movie. That week
Mhm,
I was happened to be talking to someone about Keanu Reeves as John Constantine.
mm,
And I was like, it's so funny that so many of us have like love it, right? Because it was such a big thing back in the day. It was like, whoa, he's American, he's not blonde, he is not too much of an asshole. He's just like a curmudgeon. Like he's not like an
right.
active asshole like Constantine is. And there's like some other things that they took liberties with that in that movie, in Francis Lawrence movie from like 2005, I believe it came out. But so many of us love it in his
Mhm.
portrayal. and we want a sequel. You know, we want James Gunn to be like, "Hey man, just do another Elsewhere movie where it's Keanu Reeves as John Constantine. Let's give us one more. Like, we want to see where he's at now." Like, and so many of us love it, and he did a pretty good job, I think, of it. Kind of being like he's like an asshole, but not really an asshole. Matt Ryan
Mhm.
knocked it out of the park in his NBC series, and then Legends of Tomorrow. Legends of Tomorrow, I will say, gave him a little more lovable, you know?
Yeah.
There's a little more redeeming qualities, but when you get these little bite-sized chunks in these movies, like, wow, what a dick. You know?
Yeah. You got to see him fleshed out, like, just enough to, like, not despise him to the show's benefit. Like, he was great in the, like, Arrowverse or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah, and then one of my favorite things as well in this universe, obviously, before we started, this episode proper, we did a couple shorts as bonus episodes, and the one short is the end
Mhm.
cap of this whole series. So, spoilers if you've
Yeah.
seen that, or if not, whatever. Spoiler warning. That is John dealing with the fallout of his actions throughout this universe. And
Right.
he's so much of an asshole, he can't even forgive himself. Like, what? That's how much of a dick he is. He's like, I can't even say sorry to myself.
Mhm.
Like the Spectre and God himself or herself, I like to think the last more say version of God,
Yeah.
it was like, hey, this guy, as much of a piece of shit he should go to hell. And he just
Right.
restarted the whole universe when he shouldn't have. He manipulated the Flash to do that again. So, what should we do? You're like, you know what?
Mhm.
He saved everyone. There's no more demons fucking around with shit right now. Everything's kind of back to normal where it should be. We'll give him a pass. Let him live his life out in the House of Mystery and have a good time. And this motherfucker has done so much bad in life that he can't even enjoy the
Yeah, it
afterlife.
was supposed to be like a gift, and, like, he turns it into, like, a torture chamber for himself
Every
because
day
he
for like how
can't
many years?
fucking
Like hundreds of
chill
years. Yeah, he
for
just keeps getting
500
murdered.
years.
He keeps getting murdered, and that's what tells you about John Constantine. That even himself, he's like, no, I'm a bastard. I deserve this. And God is like, yo, I'm giving you a pass. You're good, my dude. Like, I don't like you. You should be in hell, but I saved you from there. Just be off in fucking limbo. Do your own thing. Good job on
Mhm.
tricking everyone. All right. I'm proud of you. You get this one. You tricked God. You get one.
Mhm.
Enjoy living your life with this version of Zatanna in eternity together. It's like I can't. I hate myself too much. Like, what an asshole, dude. What a piece of shit. I just love
Oh,
him.
man. Yeah.
Um, what do you think of him in this? Because he is, like we mentioned, spoilers for this movie. He is the cause of everything.
There's one moment I liked him, and it's when Z had, like, all the, like, the full fucking arsenal at what's his fucking face? Faust, that motherfucker. We'll get to
Yeah.
him. I have thoughts. But she has like all these swords pointed at him, and John like calms her down and talks her back into like her body or whatever. And I was like, okay, I see why she likes you. I still hate you. It's like that friend you have who has this boyfriend like who you absolutely fucking hate,
Yep.
but like she sees something good in him and keeps going back to him, and you're like, I will tolerate him because it makes you happy, but I can't fucking stand him. That's how I feel about John
Yeah.
Constantine.
And it's a good thing. Like I think that power dynamic that they have and couple dynamic would be very toxic and very hard to read. Is that Tana wasn't as strongly written character as she is
Yeah, she's
because she
way
put
stronger than him, and it's
yeah.
the only reason it works.
Exactly, right? So there's the physicality of it, there's magical element of it, and as well, like, just personality-wise, she's just so much stronger than him that it's like, yes,
Mhm.
she's choosing to be with him, and yes, it's a toxic relationship because she should not be with this asshole of a man, but
Right.
she knows what she's getting into. She knows how to get out of the situation when she needs. So, it is a weird situation where it oddly works that
Mhm.
they are this couple in the DC universe. Because anybody else was like, this is bad. This is like, I get you guys are heroes, but like, you guys should not do this. This is going to be a rough storyline. It's like, no, she's fine. Don't worry about it.
She's
She'll
fine.
break up with him once
She'll
he
get
does
over it.
something too stupid.
Right, exactly.
Um, I did, a funny like he has so many funny moments in this, and like his interactions, particularly with Jason Blood, are some of my
Yeah,
favorite.
and, like, the thing is, like, Constantine is a humorous character.
Mm,
He's smart, he's quippy, he's just a fucking asshole, and so he has some great lines in this. And that's
yeah,
not to diminish, like, how awesome these moments are. I also loved Jason Blood. He was great. I thought their dynamic was really fun. Also, when, like, Constantine was like, "I'm not gonna be your fucking mediator. Here, have some, like, corporeal form."
yes, I did love that. I did love that. I love like he just gets annoyed too. I love it. It's
Yeah.
funny because there's these situations, right? Think of like another paranormal show or anything like that with Sam and Dean and Supernatural, right? When you get these guys and they have a situation that goes down, you should listen to them. You should take
Mhm.
their advice verbatim, and you're gonna be okay, most likely. With Constantine, you can't trust him, even if he's
No,
trying to
you
save your life, because he might be trying to sacrifice you so he lives. Like that's the worst part of it.
exactly.
Like if Zatanna came by, dead man, hell, even Jason Blood, be like, hey man, listen, I'm gonna turn into the demon real quick. He's an asshole. He hopefully he doesn't try to kill you, but overall, this is how bad the situation is that I have to turn to this guy. Gotcha, no problem. Go ahead, my dude. No,
And that's
like
the other thing
not
is
John.
like uh, Constantine's like constantly like manipulating his demon like without his consent like throughout this entire movie, and that's a huge sticking point. And like we finally get like an ounce of redemption at the end where he's like, I hate to ask this, and he's like, at least you're fucking asking this time, like
Yeah, for once.
for
Yeah,
once in
even
your
Jason
life.
said that. It's like, yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah, yeah, I think I wrote, it was at least you're asking.
that's that's what I wrote to, dude. It was so funny though to see him in this, and he said, and we have a couple more movies with him in it, which is so funny to see like
Mhm.
what's shenanigans. Because I guarantee you, other than probably the last movie, because I don't think he's the direct cause of what happened, but
Mhm.
like the next movie we have, I'm sure he's gonna be the cause of the issue. He's gonna make it worse before he makes it better. He's gonna make it better, but like at what cost? And at the end of the day, he'd be like, "Oh, look at this hero." He's like, "I am a hero." It's like, "You learned nothing from this, John Constantine." Like nothing.
Real.
Moving
Also,
on.
I
Yeah,
keep
go ahead.
getting Boston and Blood confused. I'm dyslexic.
No, I get it though. It's hard. It's hard. I did love that. Again, John Turturro, just amazing at that man.
Yeah.
Moving on, we're going to talk about magic in the DC universe. How do we feel about it? And not only in this universe, but in the comics in general. Because I know this is a sticking point for you, so I know you're not a big fan of
It
magic.
is.
So go ahead.
I'm not. In this universe, I think it works.
Yeah.
When you establish this universe with fucking Flashpoint, you know how it has to end, right?
Hmm.
And so, like, to have a magical storyline, it makes sense. We'll see them again, you know, in the finale of this season to set up the Tomorrowverse, right? Uh, and like, I get it. It makes sense. Again, I love Zatanna. She can be in anything, no notes. Like, every time she pops up, I'm rooting for her. She's the best. In general, though, I don't love magic in my superhero mediums because I think you can tell a comic that's a really strong, interesting story that is more like fantasy magical elements. But the way that blends with like this idea of trying to go for more of a hyper realistic super powered humans type of vibe, I don't feel like they mesh well together, and it creates this interesting dynamic of like, if this person is so powerful and almighty practically, why aren't they helping in like this situation or that situation? Like, where are they? And I think they kind of answer that easily with John Constantine, is that he's a selfish asshole and he doesn't
Yeah.
give a fuck. So like that kind of works. But I really love grounded stories. I really love the like minutia of the day to day, the practicalities of like intergalactic travel, like the like details of like what it's like to grow up in fucking Gotham in like the worst of the worst areas. Those are the stories I tend to gravitate towards. I don't love the when it's so abstracted that it's this big cosmic magical threat. I don't love a crisis event,
Yeah.
right? I want the day-to-day grounded stories, and we don't usually get those in a magical connotation in comics. I, I'm sure there's some out there. It's not what I come across often. And so like because it's not in the like a genre of comic that I typically am drawn to, it doesn't really mesh with my ideal of what this universe is.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things I've seen so far within this DCAMU is how they've handled magic so far. Everything's like tangentially like kind of connected. We've seen Trigun, he's gonna be a bigger character later on. His demon sons and Raven's brothers are the demons in this. So there's some like
Mhm.
through lines there. But this handles magic better than I think the new 52 did. And DC has continued to try to make magic one of their big things in their universe.
Right.
Um, I think this handled it way better, this universe so far. I think because there's not the over reliance of explaining in every minute detail, like this is what magic is, this is the rules for
Mhm.
magic in our universe, this is that. Like, don't do that. Just jump in and just show us the characters. I think that really works. And focusing on this specific group of characters, right? You don't get a lot of time. You get Adrian's story in and out. He has a solid beginning, middle, end, in his storyline here.
Mhm.
Boston Brand, you get to see his storyline, you get to see who he is, what he's all about. Orchid, very brief. In the comic book, she has a in the specifically Justice League Dark that this
Mhm.
is loosely adapted from, she has a way bigger storyline. Black Orchid, like she has this huge backstory and all this other stuff. In this, very minute. Hey, she's with the house. She's like representation of the house. Don't worry about it. She's cool.
Just fucking gnarly, like just walking into the fire scene. That was rough.
Oh man, yeah. Zatanna, highly very well established within like I think comic books as a medium and within animated DC properties because and actually live action as well. I don't like she's been in Smallville. Like we've seen like she's actually
Mhm.
a character in Smallville played by Serena Swan. Um and I think there's like one or a couple episodes with her and Clark. I think she tries to like hook up with Clark. Who wouldn't? It makes sense. Uh
Well,
but Zatanna is like the most well known, and then Constantine as well are like the most well known characters that are magic based. And then you have Swamp Thing, who has a very odd history
nobody
with
love here.
no man, I hate it because I fucking love Swamp Thing, dude. There's these old
Yeah.
movies. Wes Craven did one back in the 80s of Swamp Thing. Is super. I think Mario, you might have heard Mario talk about it. It's like super horny for some whatever weird ass reason. Last time we talked about a movie that Mario was here happened to be a movie that had Swamp Thing. It's
Uh-huh.
so weird, it's so trippy, but a lot of it has always been like, hey, this guy had a chemical accident and then he turned into a swamp thing. Not like any of the weird mystical stuff that Alan Moore has like added to the storylines and stuff. And like again, protector of the green. You get a little bit of that here. You get an understanding of who he is. It doesn't spend too much time establishing these characters and what they do and what they mean to the magic universe part. Um, and I think that works for his benefit because I think the new
Yeah.
52 and continuing on where we're at now consistently tries to over explain magic.
And it just gets so bloated and convoluted. Like when we are stepping into a superhero story, it comes with this acknowledgement of a certain level of suspension of disbelief. And that's true of all, storytelling, right? We approach it, but especially in a comics medium, especially with superpowered individuals, we are accepting that these are the rules of this universe, and you don't have to give us a super detailed explanation of how and why magic suddenly works in this world. Like, we will buy what you give us as long
Mhm.
as it's consistent. You don't have to go on this like detailed, convoluted, like bloated storytelling of like exactly how this person got their powers and what that means, and how that impacts the rest of the world.
Yeah, because if we want it, we'll seek it out. We'll tell you as an
Right.
audience we want more. I think Marvel does a really good job. Again, this is not like a DC versus Marvel thing, but it's the closest competitor we have. I think when you look at
Hmm.
the MCU, we have a very established notion of what is magic in this universe, and it's almost tied to pseudoscience. Thor
Hmm.
says it in the first movie, like, "Oh, are you magic?" It's like, well, what is magic other than like science that hasn't been like you know discovered yet, right? So it's like it's
Right.
almost like it is. Yeah, is it magic? Yes. They're trying to figure
Hmm.
out why no one can pick up Mjolnir but Thor. Like that is a suspension of disbelief that you can put yourself into. But they try. Their
Hmm.
logical human brains, Natalie Portman's character is trying
We
to sit there and be
love
like,
to categorize, right? Like, we
yeah,
want to figure out how and why.
yeah, and it kind of works to a certain degree, and then you get introduced to this world of gods slowly, and they have the Asgardian gods, and then you have Doctor Strange, which is like, hey, what's now the base level of magic within the universe? Okay, so it's like tapping into multiversal energy and like how important is that? What does this do? Like they've done a really good job of establishing magic in the MCU. Where if you want it, you'll seek it out, you'll watch the movies, you'll read the comic books for it. It is just a part of the universe. My favorite thing, anything magic based, is Falcon and Winter Soldier, first episode. Oh, is this part of the big three? And Bucky's like, what big three? And Falcon, well, now Cap goes, was it androids, uh
Androids, aliens, and
aliens and
wizards.
wizards? He's like, what do you mean wizard? He's like, Doctor Strange, he's a wizard. He's like, no, wizard wears a hat. He's like,
He's a sorcerer.
yes. Like
Fucking love
that's
that scene.
yeah, and that's such commonplace, In that
Yeah.
universe, it's 2025. They've already dealt with some of the crazy shit in the universe. And like Earthlings in general have dealt with the crazy shit in the universe. And it was like, yeah, yeah, that dude just does magic. Like that's just a thing. I
Mhm.
gotta go about my day. I gotta go to my 9 to 5. DC treats it as like everything stops. It's magic. you know? And you don't blame characters for like Batman being like, this annoys me. This is stupid. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I kind of get it. And one of the one things I
My
wish they,
favorite, like, especially with Batman, is like he's over it. He's so unfazed. Like, he doesn't like magic. He doesn't like a lot of things. He hates metas. He hates magic. He hates
uh,
everything. It's just kind of his vibe. But when they were outside the house and he's being like haunted by these like ghouls or whatever,
my
and he just
favorite
goes,
thing,
"Boo."
and they jump back like they're afraid of Batman. Like that's such a
Yeah,
cool thing.
as they
Um,
should be.
yeah, it's when they integrate it too much. This is again, this movie does a really good job of integrating in a very good way, a slow way. Um, and it is integrated to all the previous movies. Like we got the line from possibly like some minion of Trigon that the Lazarus Pit might be a gift from Trigon. Like it might be connected to him. Like it might be a magical pool that makes sense why people are coming back with from their injuries and stuff like that. Um, again, even the shorts. We did that Phantom Stranger short. At one
Yeah.
point, did they ever talk about the fact that he's Judas? No, and that's
No,
fine. It's perfectly
we
fine.
just accept that. It's
Yeah,
fine.
he's
We're
just
moving
some dude
on.
that goes around and, like, helps people because he feels burdened to, and he's trying to atone for some great sin in his past. Perfect. Dude,
Hmm.
you don't have to tell me anymore. But here's DC Comics, be like, "No, no, no, let me tell you, though. Let me sit down. Sit down, let me tell you. He's Judas Iscariot." It was like, "I don't care.
Don't care. That's
I don't
fine. I'm
care."
glad you know that, but I don't need to know that. Like,
Yeah. Okay, like, "Oh, this is how bad his sin is." again, I don't give a fuck. Like, unless it's something crazy, they're like, that's fun. That was like a crazy thing that happened in comics. I was like, oh,
Mhm.
why? Because then you've been holding yourself
What's
to
the point of
one
that?
specific like deity in the universe where it's like, but at the same time, the Greek gods are here, you know?
Right. Like, there is, like, the Christian God, but also we have the entire Greek pantheon here. You know, Marvel does the same thing with the fucking Norse
That's
pantheon. Like,
true. And there's the one
why
above
can't we
all.
come up with anything more creative than just, you know, appropriating actual religion?
Yeah. One thing I did want to touch upon in more recent when they rebooted the, Justice League Dark series and kind of brought into the more rebirth era of comics and recently, which I like that concept more. It's like, all right, listen, there's all these Justice League character teams. Like, hey, the Titans are operating out. Everyone's operating out of the Hall of Justice, and so you'll see them in the background
Mhm.
because this is a home base for all the superheroes, and they go forth on their teams specifically here. What are your thoughts on like Wonder Woman being the point person for the Justice League Dark at that time? Because she is, it makes sense. She's magical
Yeah,
compared to everyone
she
else.
has this inherent magic. She has this understanding of how they operate in the universe. Of all the people, like, I get why they had fucking Bruce be
Yeah.
here, the like mental fortitude or whatever bullshit they want to give us, because it creates an interesting dynamic to play off of the like reluctant associate. But like if we're thinking logistically, like obviously Wonder Woman is the primary choice. Like she has this inherent magic. She grew up, you know, around the gods, and she
Yeah.
can relate to magic users in a way that most people can't, while also doing her own thing.
And at this point too, in what we have in the DCAMU, they've already established that, Shazam's part of the team. So where do you think he gets his powers from? Um, and everyone's still weird about magic. And here's someone being like, hey, nah, magic's real. Magic's a thing that we have to deal with. Like, that's where I get a lot of my powers and stuff. Like, not
Mhm.
necessarily she uses magic, but that's a base part of her, life. Like she deals with Cersei and all these other fucking wizards and
Yeah.
all this shit. So like let her be the point person. She should have been the point person in this movie. Obviously at the time, looking back at 2017 and what we had in New 52, it kind of makes sense that she's not, unfortunately. But now where it is, like, it makes sense for her to have that role. Like, in the flip side, when you see Marvel, you don't expect Thor to be a point person in the magic based thing when you have so many
Right.
magic based heroes, right? You have Scarlet Witch. Yeah, she should be
Mhm.
point person. You have Doctor Strange, the actual fucking Sorcerer Supreme, who's on different versions of either the Defenders or Avengers. Like he's an active participant in this
Mhm.
world, unlike Doctor Faust or Doctor Fate, right? I'm sorry, Faust.
Mhm.
Fate is like his equivalent in DC. Fate is basically there, like I ain't touching shit, I ain't doing shit. If you
Right.
call on me,
So hands off.
yeah, and Strange is actively like trying to, whether it's a mugging, he's stopping it. He's doing this. He's active in the universe so much so that he should be point person in something like this.
Mhm.
But when you see the big three, like you don't look at Thor and be like, hey man, you have a magic hammer. Can you run this team? He's like, fuck no, I can't.
No,
I'm
that's
an
not his
idiot.
job. That's not his thing.
Nope.
Listen, I love Thor. He really gives a himbo energy. And I don't mean that as in he's dumb. I mean that as he is really good at one thing, and that one thing is battle.
Yes.
And that is his
Yeah.
job, is to like lead troops in battle.
Yeah.
Anything other than that, like that's not what he was raised for.
Nope.
This is not a Marvel podcast.
No.
Speaking of Faustus, can we talk about him?
Man, this sexist motherfucker.
This motherfucker. Listen, as soon as he popped up with the fucking like no women can speak in my sanctum bullshit, I
Oh
was like,
my
get out of
god.
here. My first thought was Jeremy Jordan would never. And this is a real deep cut, I know. But there's this amazing cast album called In the Light. It's a Faustian tale. Jeremy Jordan plays, you guessed it, Faustus. And it's really fucking gay, and I love it. And it's a great album. Everybody should go listen to it. So my question to you is, do we think that this Faust hates women because he's also like secretly repressed gay?
Ooh, yeah. Well, it's Arthurian times, right? He comes from, right? Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's when they started being weird about sexuality, right? It's like post like Greek,
Hmm.
where everyone's like love is love, and they're
Yeah.
just like bathhouses were crazy. Yeah, I can see
Hmm.
him. I can see him being like very closeted and just like kind of angry. Also, like his main post King Arthur and Merlin, his main battles are like the Amazonians. So he's just like he gets his ass whooped by these powerful ass women all the time. He's just turning into a
Yeah, that
trumper. Like
doesn't help.
slowly and surely, he's just turning into like some right wing snowflake. You know, it was like
Yeah.
women are the problem here.
Hmm.
Bah. What do you mean
No,
there's a
you're just
tariff?
salty that you got your ass beat by a fucking Amazonian.
Yeah. And I love the fact in this that Z gets so upset by everything going on. Like, obviously, they're getting their ass
Yeah.
beat and everything like that. But I'm pretty sure it's just Faust in general that just turns her over the edge and she goes
Yeah.
like nuclear.
Yeah.
Like,
As she should. Somebody literally took her voice and then beat the shit out of her.
uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah.
I get why she went nuclear.
And that's that thing, right? That's like her power, right? And for
Hmm.
this man to take her power away from her, to hold that
Yeah.
against her. Like there's so many little layers. Like I don't know if James Demetrius and Ernie Altbacker were specifically aiming for this, but I like that scene alone, I was reading so much into it because there's
Yeah,
so much
especially with the
toxic shit
fucking
there.
statue of the like angel with the like gag over her mouth.
That's right. Yeah. And then there was doesn't he say something creepy to her as well? Like he says something like really
Yeah.
gross, like he's gonna make her like a slave
Yeah.
or something. Like,
I kind of like tuned out everything he said after he was this sexist piece of shit, but it was all gross.
yeah, dude, that was I mean, shout out to Alfred Molina. He did great.
Great
Always,
job.
yeah.
Completely horrific asshole. Great performance. Cannot stand you.
Yeah, yeah. Like, God damn, you always deliver. You delivered too
Mhm.
well in this one. Okay, sir.
A little bit. A little
Just a
bit.
little bit. But yeah, it was very I mean, in a good way. Like it was very frustrating in a good way. Like they wrote him so angrily well. He's like an incel dude that seeing Z go that nuclear was like, dude, just kill him. Just kill him. Just kill him.
Mhm.
And it was surprising that Constantine was like, nah. Like, really, Constantine? This is the one time you want
He
to be a good
wanted to
person?
save her soul because
What
he's in love.
what a dick.
Whatever.
Yeah, he's such an asshole. God, God
Yeah,
damn it, John Constantine. How many times do you think people say that about John? God damn it, John Constantine. Um,
constantly. I feel like every time before they say his name.
yeah, that's how they get into it. Moving on from the Andrea Romano roundup, do you want to anything you want to shout out specifically in the movie?
Um, I will say the first time I technically watched this movie, I spent most of the time reading fan fiction, which is a little tease for a future bonus episode.
Yep.
Maybe I was working on something. But the second time around, I was mostly focused. I was ordering food for the beginning part, but that was the part I had paid attention to the first time. So it like evens out to a net like
Yeah.
I watched this movie once. It was very funny. I really loved at the beginning when they were in the fucking hospital when Batman pulled out an AED cart to like subdue the fucking demon creature. That was great. A lot of the like the physical comedy of the world was really good. They had they had two really good quippy characters that played off of each other really well enough to keep the tone a little more lighthearted. This was a very like violent and gory film, but they kept it light. They kept it not it didn't get very tense. Swamp Thing was incredible. Like every time he shows up,
Yeah.
I cheer. I don't like. Was he completely underutilized? Yes.
Every
Was
goddamn
his
time.
like every time? But he showed up, and we're excited about that. And oh, the fucking cancer dude
Oh,
who had
Richie.
his like, yeah, fucking Richie was a whole ass ride. Um,
I really didn't
oh,
expect him to be
the
bad guy. I was like, oh shit, he is the bad guy. What the fuck?
that was, yeah, it was a good twist. I was like, why the fuck do we care about him? And then we got to it where he was the bad guy. And I was like, oh, that's why we care about him. But at the very end, we see Z fighting Diana and Clark.
Dude,
Hot.
that was awesome. And I love I
It
have a
was
note here for
badass.
that fight because it was like I was like, listen, we talk about how chill Batman is, but he definitely looked like he was about to shit himself when he knows Superman behind him. Because he really didn't
Yeah.
notice like at all that Superman was behind him until you saw
No.
Zatanna. He just turned around and his fist is right there. Like he was about to have no fucking face.
Like right next yeah, incredible. And then at the end, there was this line about Constantine was like, we gotta see a man about a horse. And that was the funniest fucking thing where Constantine himself turned in to the Trojan horse for them to
Yeah,
fucking stab what's his face in the heart.
that was
Brilliant.
great.
Incredible. No notes. That end fight sequence like made up
Oh, it was
for the
cool.
entire film.
No, I really did. I also love this random thing like with that last fight and just the whole, I guess, first time for John Stewart being part of the
Yeah.
Justice League. He's just subbing in for Hal,
John.
and he's like, "Man, what a horrible first day." You know,
Right.
what a shitty first day for you, man.
I
That
was so
sucks, man.
excited to see him though.
I was
I love
too.
John.
I was like, I want more John. Like, fuck Hal, dude. Leave that bitch in space. Even with John
Right.
Stewart. Um, what was some of the notes I had? I had they constantly kept reading Batman the Filth. Like, he was just throwing that
Yeah.
motherfucker down. Like everyone was over Batman shit from jump. Like, they're like, I don't give time for you, man.
Yeah.
Fuck out here.
I
Um,
do want to say though, we've mentioned before how much I love Etrigan. He was great in this. The very
yeah.
end,
Beautiful poem.
we'll talk about
Oh
it.
my
Beautiful,
god.
beautiful,
What a
wonderful,
great poem.
amazing.
Oh,
I really enjoyed him throughout this film.
I had a note here from the very beginning when all the people are either committing like mass suicides or
Hmm.
seeing demons and like throwing themselves. Actually, it's not mass suicides. They're seeing demons everywhere. This one woman sees her baby as a
Oh, the
demon.
baby.
She goes to throw it, but then
That was
she
rough.
kills herself. Batman's holding the baby, and I said, I wonder if Batman's gonna make this baby a Robin now.
Probably. That
You're
tracks.
mine now, little one. He's like sizing up. He's like taking measurements. Like, Alfred, I need you to make a Robin costume. It's a onesie.
Little baby suit.
Yeah. Um. Oh, I for Deadman when they were talking about his origin, I was like, damn, can you imagine landing, landing the act and then looking back and you're like,
Yeah.
oh fuck,
Oof. Yeah.
I died. That
That was
sucks.
rough. Hmm. Little
uh,
too friendly with the ladies and not enough with the husbands.
yep, that's Boston Brave for you,
R.I.P.
man. Um, yeah, I was shocked that Richie was the bad guy. I was like, oh man, that's so weird. I mean, it made sense story wise. Like once they explained it, I was like, oh, okay, well, it's just a normal dude. Uh,
Normal dude who got fucked up by Constantine and then decided to ruin
yep,
the world.
yep. I don't blame him.
Tracks.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Well, I loved when they were fighting Destiny, and he just saw Swamp Thing reads him out. He's like, no, no, no,
Mhm.
you're still a man who thinks he's not human, and then rips his fucking. He's like, that's why you hold on to your human body. It rips his human body out of the fucking Swamp Thing, like ferns and shit, and just throws that motherfucker away. I was like, god damn. I was like, holy
Oh, man.
shit.
Yeah,
They really
that one
make
hurt.
good use of the rated R like nature of this movie.
Yeah.
Like, which
Hmm.
is weird to say because DC always like, oh, it's all grim dark all the time. Rated R. This is
Hmm.
actually was well worth it.
It
Uh,
wasn't really like gore for gore's sake. Like it was all intentional. It was
yeah,
really
that first scene was
practical and
disturbing. You know,
useful.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the running over people or like the mom
Mhm.
like throwing the baby and then killing herself. Like I
Yeah.
felt like that's where you got the rated R nature of it.
Mhm. It
eh,
established the tone without being, like, unnecessarily, like, just, like, blowing up heads in this, like, massive battle scene,
yeah,
which we've
yeah,
seen before.
yeah. They could go like, and I think if our future movies we have one is a Suicide Squad. I think that's also rated R once we get to that. Um, and I think that's very gory and bloody, almost for like no reason esque. But it's
Mhm.
also like that whole movie's premise is to pay homage to 70 grindhouse movies. So like
Yeah.
where it feels out of place in the DC universe, it doesn't when you see the tone of the whole movie. It's like, oh, this is
Mhm.
a grindhouse movie that happens to be DC movie, but this is like really perfectly executed, rated R wise. I am interested too because I know, um, I've seen clips obviously, but like the ending two movies of this DCAMU are both rated R. I'm interested to see how they if it's like this where it's
Mhm.
rated R because of like what we're talking about. And yes, they are showing a little more graphic stuff, but it's not like over. It's like, oh, we have to make this rated R because of the A, B, and C. Um, or is it going to be like Suicide Squad Hell to Play when we get there? It's like, hey, it's just gore for gore's sake. We have Superman here too. Like, I don't know if it fits. So we'll see when we get down the line for that movie.
Mhm.
Does this count as killing? I don't remember why I put that down, but
Oh,
uh,
Batman taking out some
oh
fucking
yeah,
demons?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was because he was again. I feel like he just unleashes when he knows he's like, oh, not a real person. Cool, I'm gonna unleash so much trauma on you.
Right.
Of course, we talked about the poem from Etrigan. It's a very beautiful poem about being a man and everything. Like, and the best bait he met was just, I was really good. Um, and then the last, yeah, I said, God, the sexual tension between Z and Constantine, and then Boss
Yeah.
can get a little wink from Orchid. I was like, okay,
Mhm.
go,
Okay. I
okay.
ship them. I like them together.
Mhm. But yeah,
They're
that's
cute.
that's our notes. But moving on, we're going to
Mhm.
drama class, one of my favorite sections, and a holdover for MC University. We have one, two, three, four sections. And mainly it's John and Jason because they're just Jason
Yeah.
Blood or Etrigan are just amazing in this. Sly, where do you want to start?
I think we gotta start with the poem.
Okay.
We've talked about it, we've hyped it up. I'm so excited.
Do you want me to do it or you want to do it?
If you don't mind, I'd love to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright. Now this is at, like, over the hill from his, like, fucking birthplace. They take his grave
Uh,
back to where oh,
a
emotional.
rare nice thing
Anyways,
from John Constantine.
I know. Every so often he does one nice thing. You're like, "Fuck, but you're an asshole."
That's how Zatanna keeps
Anyways.
coming back.
For 500 years, he and I have been bound, a demon from hell, a knight of renown. Though we were cursed to be slaves to each other, I know of no man I'd want more for a brother. Farewell, mortal.
Killed me, man. Killed me. It was so good, especially because post New 52, they kind of play up more the demon aspect of Etrigan. So, like,
Mhm.
where Jason's like annoyed, like pre New
Mm,
52 or like Batman animated universe, like when he pops up, he's like, oh, I'm annoyed. Like, this guy's going to be here. I don't, it's like, it's just more like a inconvenience for Jason Blood to be
right.
Etrigan. Etrigan's like almost like the Tasmanian devil if he was an actual devil, like, and, with a sword and like just crazy. So they really do
Yeah,
play
he
up the
he was,
more,
like, silly, goofy vibes, and then they got a little more serious with the demon of it
yeah.
all.
And the fact they're like, yeah, no, if you summon this demon, yes, you should be worried. Like, there will be
Mhm,
collateral damage. But I like this, like he like learned,
mhm.
to they both loved each other at the end in a weird brotherhood type of way. I thought that was really nice. Um,
You wanna do the first Constantine one?
yeah, yeah. I expect the worst. I prepare for the worst, and when the worst happens, I'm ready. But my outlook doesn't alter the reality of the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
that line
Yeah.
screams of Leonard Snart in Flash. Was it
Yeah.
make execute the plan goes awry, throw away the plan, and
Yeah.
make a new plan. Like that's what it
Yeah.
reminds me of. Uh that applies so much in just different aspects of life.
Right.
Do you want to do the next one? Uh,
You want me to do Constantine for the
yeah,
next one?
and I'll do
Okay.
Jason.
Perfect. Is that a sword in your chest, or are you just glad to see me?
Merlin sends his regards. And by the way, you lose. God, what a line.
So good.
They're both so
That was
cunty.
like, hell yeah. Absolutely.
They're great. They play off each
Both
other
very cunty.
so good. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally we have Etrigan and Constantine. Um, who do you want to be? You want to be Etrigan and I'll be Constantine?
I'll take him again, yeah.
Okay.
So Constantine calls once more, just like a greedy wonton.
Save the bloody
Oh,
rhymes and stop the git.
killjoy.
Like he's like, all right, that's enough of the fucking rhymes. So dumb.
Yeah.
All right. So we have
Constantine is a greedy wanton whore. He was
yes.
right.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah. Again, so many people you can call that in the DC universe. John Constantine is definitely one of them. Like he
Yeah.
is one of them. Many of the people that you can call that in the DC universe happen to be male.
Yeah.
Where
Correct.
horrible comic book fans will use it for the female characters. No, you're looking in the wrong
Mm-mm.
place.
Mm-hmm. It's the boys.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on. We got quiz time. Um, I don't know about this. Let's see. You have seen Matt Ryan's NBC show, correct?
Which one?
The original Constantine show that was on NBC.
Oh, no.
All
No, I
right,
have not.
all right. You're not
Absolutely
gonna get
not.
this at all. Okay, cool.
That's fine.
Just try once, and then I'll give you the answer. All right. Which actor from this film, outside of Matt Ryan, is returning to their role they initially played in the live-action Constantine show?
No idea. Okay. Let's see. I'm just gonna pick a random name from this list of stars we have in the doc. And the first one landed on was Alfred Molina. So that's my guess.
No, it is Jeremy Davies. He has
Okay.
played Richie in 2 episodes of Constantine on
All right.
NBC. So he's returning as Richie again. So I think the idea is
Gotcha.
like
That's
this.
nice. I
Yeah.
love a little callback.
Also, shout out to Jeremy Davies. He's amazing in The Black Phone. Just watched that recently. It was really hard to
Mm-hmm.
watch. Which made as watching, you're like, man, you're a good actor. Fuck, this is a rough movie to watch with you in it. And also, he's in
Yeah.
Lost. I love him in Lost.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, rounding out, we have Homeroom. Sly, what are your final thoughts on 2017's Justice League Dark?
This is a way better movie when you're actually paying attention to it. It's definitely not one you can like throw on in the background and like catch here and there. Because then you'll be like me the first time I tried to watch this, I'd be like, fuck, why is Zatanna dead? I don't know. It's a fun watch, it's a good one. I feel like even if you don't really know these characters, it's a pretty good introduction. And if you want to learn more about these characters, there's a whole comics book run you can pick up and dive into. Uh, I'm excited to see this cast come back for the finale of this season. I'm not really sure how much there'll be in the movies between now and the next Justice League Dark. But oh, we have Constantine in there for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll at least see Constantine and Co. a little bit. But yeah, no, overall, again, not typically my favorite genre within this universe, but enjoyable. I feel like it was well crafted. The story was good. The writing was good. So I can't complain too much about it, you know?
Yeah. I think for me, this movie does a really good job. If you're a fan of any of these characters, I think you get a very enjoyable film out of it. I think if you haven't witnessed these characters before and this is your first time watching it and you're watching this movie, I think you're gonna come away with it by the end of it being like, "Ooh, I wanna learn more about Etrigan," or "I wanna learn more about Zatanna or Swamp Thing." And those characters have amazing runs, you know, like, individually, like, Zatanna has so many great series. Deadman has a couple good, short series. Swamp Thing, I mean, again, going back to, like, the '70s,
You have
'80s,
decades worth of
yeah, so
great
many good
stuff.
we got Alan Moore, you know, got Scott Snyder, who recently, like, when the New 52 launched, wrote not only Batman, but Swamp Thing, and they're both equally amazing books. Um, you can read Justice League Dark itself, which I think this movie does a better job of introducing magic to your purview within the DC universe than the comics, I would say. Um,
Mhm.
I think it's a fun watch. I think you can you might be able to skip it ultimately, but I think if you set the time aside and wanna sit down again, it doesn't play with your time. It's like a good, what, hour 15, hour 20 maybe.
Yeah.
Again, doesn't play with your time. You can sit there, not waste a whole afternoon, watch it and be like, "Damn, that was kinda fun," and then go about your day. And I think you will have a fun time. I think Jason Blood and slash Etrigan and John Constantine's banter make the movie really fun. Batman happens to
Mhm.
be there, which is funny.
Yeah.
And I think they really do kinda play up the fact that he's just there.
Mhm.
Someone who hates
It is,
magic and someone who takes point.
exactly hour 15,
Oh,
75 minutes,
yeah.
easy watch.
In and out, dude. Yeah, it's no issue whatsoever. Again, are you gonna find it on Max? No, because fucking David Zaslav sucks. But, you know, you'll find The Pit on there. That's a good show if you're watching, you know, and
Mhm.
other DC properties and some of the movies we've
It'll
already
be
talked about.
over by the time this comes out, but,
Yeah. Who knows?
finale's
Yeah.
this week, right?
Yeah, it is this week. But yeah, I think I think this does a really good job movie wise of if you're not a fan of these characters or you haven't been introduced to these characters, I think does a really good job of being like, ooh, I want to learn more about Swamp Thing. Ooh, I want to learn more about Satana and stuff like that. And ideally, that's what DC wants. That's what Marvel wants. That's what all these comic book companies want, right? That you be ever so slightly interested and be like, let me go to the source material. Let me go to the free
Right.
library and let me go on, Kindle or, whatever
Mhm.
app you wanna use for your digital media, or if you want, Libby and stuff like that. We've always touted, check out your free library and things like that. Read these comic books and then you're like, "Oh, man, maybe I'll go to Barnes& and Nobles or whatever, like, physical media store and go buy them," go to a Target and be like well, maybe not Target, but
Go to your local comics book
yeah,
shop, like,
go to your local
I
comic book shop,
have
yeah.
2 really good ones here in Seattle. Shout out Outsider Comics, I love you so much. I do have to cross a body of water to get to you, but it's worth it every time.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? As we're shouting out comic book stores, shout out to Ontario Street Comic Books in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It has been featured in 2 movies. It has been featured in Unbreakable, and its sequel, Glass. So it's in both of those movies. One of my favorite comic book shops. And fun aside, real quick before we move on, my dumbass, I've been going since I was a kid. Like every once in a while, I was in a different neighborhood than I lived in, but my mom would drive me
Mhm.
there. And then once I got old enough, I happened to live in that area. I was like, "Oh, comic book shop."
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh, I've been here before. This is awesome." I had this giant Unbreakable poster. I've seen the movie before, like a few
Yeah.
times, and I see the poster, and I just go about my day, pick up my 20 comics, buy some like collectibles, some shit like that, talk to the owners and stuff. They're awesome people, and then keep going. And it wasn't until like the maybe 50th week that I look and there's like a little post-it note under the Unbreakable poster. Like it's a full theatrical poster, like it takes up like the whole
Yeah.
wall, and it's just hung above, and it said movie filmed here. I was like, and my bride blew up. It's the scene where Mr. Glass just knocks over all the comic books. If you ever seen that movie, Samuel Jackson's just knocking all the comic books down as he's being wheelchaired out of the comic book shop. So that is that scene. And I'm an idiot. I can't apparently I can't read small print. above me, or I choose not to. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna buy another Connor Kent figure.
It just kinda, especially once you've seen something so much, it just kinda, like, doesn't register in your brain that it's there.
And the worst part was, like, it was me and my friend at the time, Joe, and, like, we looked at it and we are like we would look at the poster and be like, "Man, what a good movie," and just keep going about our day.
Mhm.
And the sign has been there for, like, years, and then we finally stopped and we're just, like, looking around, and I was like, "Joe, look," and he's like, "What? Oh, fuck." And it's again, we both had that same moment. It was so stupid. We're idiots. Um, but yeah, check these characters out in comic book wise, 'cause I think separately, I think these characters are really amazing, and I think this movie does a really good job of wanting you to check them out. I think it does a really good job of that. Homework for next episode. We're going back to the Teen Titans. We had Teen Titans: The Judas Contract. As of course, last week's episode we were teased Tara and her arrival to the Teen
Mhm.
Titans. So I have never seen
Yeah.
that movie before, and let's see how they adapt this very controversial storyline. Is it going to be cool
Yeah.
Slade, where he just gaslights people, or is it really bad Slade, where he gaslights people and does other stuff? Who knows?
Hoping for the former, but,
I'm hoping for
we'll
the
see.
former. But I like cool Slade. I like Slade where you're like, oh man,
Mhm.
he's a bad guy, but he's like kind of cool. Not like, hey man, this
Mhm.
is a bad guy, but like for real though, like he's done really horrible things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see next week's episode and see how that goes. Uh before we close out the episode, Sly, where can people find you?
Find me here on Point in Progress, doing various things. You can find me on TikTok at CycloneMC, chatting with JJ on lives every Sunday about network television, 911, Dr. Odyssey. I've been watching FBI, all those
Mhm.
fun stuff. And you can find me on Storygraph at Cyclone if you want to see all of the random shit I'm reading. That's not the things I told myself I was going to read each week.
Did
Saying.
not hold yourself accountable when it came to TikTok.
I did so good for the
You
first, like,
did
3
though.
weeks,
Hey,
and
you're still reading
then
though. You're still reading.
I'm
That's the
still
important thing.
reading, just not what I wanted to be
Exactly.
reading.
Yeah, for me, you can find me here. Point in progress, youtube.com/point in progress. Again, if you're watching the physical, we're talking about physical media. If you if you're watching this physically somehow, I don't know why you're in my room. But if you're if you're watching this on YouTube, check out the audio podcast, rate, subscribe, do all that jazz over in your favorite podcast service of your choice. And vice versa. If you're listening, come over to youtube.com/point in progress, subscribe, notification bell, all the jazz that YouTube people say all the time. Like we have a bunch of other content, like Frank just started a new series, which is really good. I had to stop it though, because I think there were some
Mhm.
spoilers. I felt like some spoilers were coming to like
Mm.
Alan Wake 2. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm about to
probably.
play that. I can't do that. But it's called Looking Back, where his first episode he checks out and he looks back at Max Payne 3 and his thoughts on that, retrospectively afterwards. You can also find my series, It's Not a Loop, where is a Remedy verse playthrough series. I go through the games for the very first time. So we already did season 1, which was Alan Wake Remastered and Alan Wake American Nightmare. Season 2 just wrapped up as well with Quantum Break. And I think soon I'm gonna start recording season 3, where it's not a loop, it's Control. Play through that whole game series. I took a little break off in between Remedyverse games to play some other stuff. I was like, I need just a little bit of
Mhm.
a break
Yeah,
before I get into like a
so
really, really
valid.
good game that's going to take over my life. I already know it's going to. I'm going to be obsessed with this
Mhm.
thing. But and then if you want to follow me personally, youtube.com/nerdtoday, I actually have posted a video for my first time in 11 months.
Ooh,
Yes. And that's
exciting.
me breaking down
You've
all
been making
this.
a lot of content. You just haven't been posting it for your own channel.
True. That is very, very true. Um, and yeah, that's me talking about all the Switch 2 news that we got, minus the next day's horrible news that came. And thanks Trump for that one. But I did put an
Mhm.
amendum in my tweets and my blue sky, post. And I think there might be a Anthony Ramos Hamilton gif under them as well. You know, it's important. Hamilton's really a lot of people have watched Hamilton or did not watch Hamilton, and it shows. It shows.
Mhm. Yeah.
It shows. Or, Ferris Bueller, where they're talking about how important how bad tariffs are, and when he's looking for Ferris, a lot of people did watch the beginning of that movie, and it shows.
Mhm.
Guys,
Mhm.
it shows. Media literacy is very important because now it's bleeding
Yeah.
into real life.
It's on a rapid decline, but
Yep. But here we are. We're making content for you guys, so you're not as depressed, and we all hold
Also,
hands.
shout out.
Do this.
I don't know her name off the top of my head. I'll put it in the doobly doo. There's an author. No, sorry, teacher. There's a teacher on TikTok whose like middle school classes are currently reading through The Hunger Games, and
Ooh,
she's like walking them through line by line, like how to critically analyze these books,
hell
and
yeah!
like has their reactions and stuff to everything that's going on. It's brilliant. It's smart. It's very entertaining. If you love those books as a kid, if you didn't read those books as a kid, check out whoever that is. Sorry, I don't know your name. But I love the content of like how to like actually analyze what are the messages in that book. And then they're very important right now.
Yeah, because oh, it's very important right now, that series. But yeah, till next time. I don't know why I'm glitching out for a moment. I'm gonna give myself a second to. You can hear me, right? Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, yeah,
Your
cool,
camera's just been funky.
awesome. Just love technology. Thanks, Elgato. I blame Elgato. Like my computer isn't like just like ever so slightly not up to snuff. Um, but yeah, till next time. Class is dismissed.
Bye.